Hello.
Yes,
Yeah, am I speaking to Swaroop?
yes, speaking.
Hi, Swaroop. I'm calling from Infosys.
Okay.
Yeah, we had an interview scheduled for today, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so is this the right time?
Yes, can you just hold on for 1 minute? Actually, I'm at my desk. I'm just coming downstairs.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. What's your name? Sorry, I didn't remember.
Yeah, you can take your time.
Yeah. No, no, I'm just asking your name.
Okay, Pratyaksh to say.
Pratyaksh.
Yeah.
Okay. So early to office. Like, I just came today at 8:30, so I'm at my desk. Just one moment, I'm coming downstairs.
Okay, no problem. No issues.
Yeah, now I'm outside. We can go ahead.
Okay, so I have your profile with me. So I was going through this, and you've written some DevOps implementation there.
Yeah.
So can you please define DevOps for me?
Okay, so if I want to define DevOps, like I mean, DevOps in my sense, like it's not something related to technology, it's more about practice. And more often, like the DevOps, what exactly it will say is like more number of deployments in lesser time with quality product which will be delivered to the customer rather than waiting for 3 months or 6 months, something like that.
You have worked on some tools, as I can see here.
Yeah.
So can you give a brief about what all tools you have worked with?
Okay. So, like, I mean, coming to as a part of this DevOps implementation, I have worked on different tools, like, I mean, AWS for cloud, Jenkins and Git, and Apache Maven script for continuous integration and build related stuff. And I worked on Vagrant also, which is an virtualization tool which is used for creating the servers for local development teams and the QA teams to do their work. Once the work is done, then we used to destroy those boxes. Vagrant is also a similar kind of virtualization tool. And I got some exposure on Docker as well, creating the images and running the containers, maintaining the Docker hub and images related to that, and pulling those images and pushing those images based on the requirements. And I have exposure on Ansible configuration management tool, which is used for IT infrastructure automation. So rather than doing things manually, we can automate the things like kind of deployment and installing EC2 configuration changes and a few more things we are doing with Ansible as well. And I am involved in doing the setup in Ansible from the scratch itself.
Okay. And you are compatible with both Linux and Windows, or there is some specific environment that you have worked on?
Most of the boxes we have Unix boxes, and we have few Windows boxes, roughly 4 to 5 boxes where end users are experiencing their portals and those things, and the remaining everything is in Linux only.
Okay. And as far as Jenkins is concerned, what is the level of understanding in Jenkins? Like, out of 10, what will you rate yourself?
In Jenkins, I can rate myself like I'm in 6 to 7. So, from my point of view, in Jenkins, I have created the job configuration, different job configurations, and user administration part also I have created. And then I did master slave configuration for load balancing in Jenkins. And I have understanding like I mean plugins and how to set up a new job and what will be the basic requirements. And I do have experience in Apache Maven scripting, like I mean writing the pom.xml files with the help of developers and architects to set the dependencies for the code. What we?
Can I ask some basic questions in Jenkins?
Yeah, sure, please.
Okay, so can you give me the
Sorry, my voice is breaking.
yes, I'm asking about the installation procedure for Jenkins.
Yeah, in Jenkins we have two kinds of installation. One is like by using command prompt java-jar jenkins.war file. So with this we don't if we run that automatically our Jenkins will get installed. Then if we go to Jenkins by using Jenkins port number 8080, by default it will be running on that port. And then there we can create like Windows as a service. Once that is done, we can able to access it. And this installation.
If you want to change the port of Jenkins from 8080 to some other port, then what is?
We have Jenkins.xml file. Go to that file, and there the port number will be available as 8080. You can override with the port number which you want to have for your Jenkins access. Then you need to take a restart of your Jenkins. So once it's restarted, then it will.
Can't you modify the command that you were using earlier, like Java and Java?
There, we need to give one argument. Port equals to the new port number, but I am not exactly sure about that. I am doing from the Jenkins.xml file, but there is a simple command while doing this command only. Java-jar jenkins.var, then there will be one argument we need to pass that with the exact port number what we are looking for Jenkins.
Okay, and the second way?
Second way is something like, you install Apache web server, and then in OPT directory you put your Jenkins installation file, and then to restart your web server. Once the web server is restarted, then your Jenkins will automatically get installed, and you can see the directories related to Jenkins. You can say like a plugins directory, workspace directory, and a security directory where you will be having your secret password for the first time login. Those will be available under those directory, and you can take that password and you can access it, and then you can create your own user and password for that.
Okay, so what all plugins? You have worked on Jenkins plugins also. So what all plugins do you remember? Can you give me about 5 plugins of Jenkins?
Yes, sure. There are a lot of plugins. I can say Git plugin, Purpose plugin. For AWS also we have AWS plugin for provisioning with AWS. And then Nexus also we have one plugin. Then we have another plugin with Ansible as well. Directly we can do it with Ansible. And there is few plugins named like Greenball. Means if I are trying to install Git plugin, at that time there will be few more dependencies associated with the Git plugin. Those plugins will also get installed. Then once those plugins are resolved, then only this Git main plugin will get installed, like those kind of plugins.
And give you a scenario, like if you want to, you have 2 jobs in Jenkins, and if you want to pass a string parameter from one Jenkins job to another Jenkins job.
Okay.
So is that scenario possible, and if possible or not?
Yes, it will possible. There will be one option like poll.scm, like it will wait till your first job finishes, then based on the argument what we have passed with the first job, then it will start the second job. I think the poll.xml poll.scm option will be there in the job setup itself.
So what is the use of that poll? Are you sure it is used for parameter passing or some other?
I think like it is sequential job triggering. If you trigger 2 jobs like poll.scm, just give me 1 second, I will tell you. Poll.scm. Okay, my bad. Actually, poll.scm is the option which is used like whenever we make any changes in the version control system, at the time automatically the build has to do trigger.
And I'll give you one more scenario.
Yeah, sure.
You have one single job in Jenkins, and you want to fetch code, okay, from across multiple SVM repositories. One is Gates, one is SVM, and one is KPs.
Okay.
So in a single job.
In a single job.
Possible?
I am not sure. Actually, we are using only Git as a version control system. We used to configure Git only to our Jenkins.
Okay, so are you aware of any built-in variables in Jenkins?
Means in which case you are asking built-in variable?
some built-in variables, inbuilt variables in Jenkins. Can you name a few?
Like plugins, workspace, artifact ID, group ID, and the version.
Okay, and have you worked on APIs of Jenkins?
No.
So any APIs of Jenkins that you're aware of?
Means these words are like bit difficult. If you give like whether the scenario or something, I can tell you like easily whether I did those scenarios or not.
Okay.
I'm not from developer background. I'm into this DevOps. I came from.
I'll give you a scenario. Like you have Jenkins installed in some host machine, okay?
Okay.
And you don't have access to that machine.
Okay.
You just have access to the Jenkins dashboard.
Okay.
Right? And you want to restart Jenkins after installing a plugin.
Okay.
So, what will be your line of action in that case?
Then from the web browser itself there is one option, right? Jenkins, your port number and then /restart and force restart.
Okay. And have you created any upstream, downstream jobs in Jenkins? So what can you explain what for what purpose you use Jenkins? Like how did you configure Jenkins?
Okay. See, like in our environment, we are having a pharmacy application and all our code is into Java. So we have like straightforward job configuration. So we have almost 6 developers teams. Look, for them, like we are giving a separate configuration. For separate team, we will be creating a separate job so that the respective QA team, once the build is successful, then the artifact is available, then we are having that .war file only. Once the package is available and the build is successful, and our QAs will take that build and apply on their local QA environments to test those code changes.
Okay, and I'll give you a scenario. If you want to if you want to configure this pipeline, DevOps pipeline, in such a way that when the user or developer commits into the Git repository, on successful commit, the Jenkins job should trigger.
Okay.
So how will you set this up?
So we already discussed about that option, right? Poll.scm, when we make some changes in the Git.
Okay, so only poll.scm will solve this, right?
And one more thing is also there, right? If we make some changes and we have some build setup, while build setting up only, whenever we make the changes in the Git, automatically the jobs trigger. There is one more option in the job setup only, and we have one more option, like if you want to have it like specific 5 minutes or something like that, then you can write a syntax similar to a cron type syntax, and based on those parameters automatically the build will get triggered if the changes are there at that time.
And what is the level of comfort in Maven?
Maven means that is not entirely what we are writing right now, right? You might be aware, everyone needs to be involved in that. From dev end and architect end, they will be more comfortable in telling the dependencies, but I know what exactly the pom.xml file and how the syntax will be there in that.
Okay, so what are the life cycles of a Maven job?
First is it will verify whether the project is fine or not. Then it will test. If everything is fine, then integration test will run. Then if it is integration test is successful, then it will build and then it will deploy.
Okay, so any differences between npm package and npm install?
Yes, packaging and install is also there in this part only. I missed that actually. Sorry.
Yeah, so any differences between both?
Packaging is something when it is doing .war file or .jar file, at the time we call it as a packaging, right?
And you have worked in SVN and Git also, right?
Git, I worked in Git.
Okay, only Git?
Yes. Like, I mean, from initial, like, all my application, means also our course code is in Git only.
Okay. So, is Git a centralized system or is it a distributed system?
It's a distributed version control system.
Okay, so what are the advantages of Git over any other SVN tool in the market?
Sorry? Come again, question?
What are the advantages of using Git over any other SVN, this SVN tool in the market?
Okay. See, like, I mean, it is a distributed. So, if you take SVN, SVN is a centralized repository system. But there, like, if you are making some changes, then you need to commit to the master branch only. Like, you can't manage those databases. Like, I mean, if I have, like, I mean, 10 branches in the master, then if you make some changes on your local, then you need to commit those changes in the master only. But in Git, you can maintain master as your local repository, and you can make the changes and you can do the testing on your local machine, and once everything is successful, then you can commit those things to the master branch. You can replicate the complete code from master to.
So what are the use of hooks in Git?
What are the
use of hooks? H-O-O-K, hooks.
I have no idea actually. The term is different. Maybe give me some hint. I can try to pick if something I know.
No issue.
Okay.
And how can you configure your, for example, on the commit, you want to configure the developer's email ID?
Yes.
Yeah. So how will you do that?
Git global hyphen user global hyphen email. Then after that you need to give the email ID of that one user.
So can you elaborate on the merging and conflict resolution in this?
So like merging is something like, I mean, once the developers copy the source code from master branch and then they make the changes and the testing is successful from the QA end, then we will try to merge those changes from developers local branch to master branch. So that is called merging. If two developers are doing the merging at the same time.
What is it like? What are the use of tags in a Git repo?
Tags?
Yeah, tagging.
Tagging, no idea, sorry. Like it's a kind of naming convention given to specific lane. If you do the version, we are maintaining our source code, like, I mean, in a way like 2605, 2607, 2608. That is kind of a tag which we used to give to our code. Okay. Sorry?
Apache Ant. Have you heard it?
Yeah, I heard actually Apache and Gradle and Nant, but we didn't use those. We have only Maven. Nant is used for .NET applications, and Ant and Gradle are also used for Java applications.
Docker?
I know, like, I mean, AWS, Ansible and Docker. But Docker, I did only 3 months POC. I have understanding what is a Docker, and I have good understanding of Vagrant for creating the virtual.
So what is the HTTP port for Docker daemon?
Sorry, no idea. Like, I mean, I didn't explore that much on that. Can I know the default port number?
And like if you want to get the metadata of a running Docker container.
Okay.
Yeah, so which command will you use to get this?
Metadata. Inspect Docker inspect space container ID.
Okay, and what all fields will you get in that case?
The fields, like, I mean, the time from which the container has been pulled and it is running as a container. and the container ID also we will get in that complete container ID. It will be like 12-digit hexadecimal number.
Okay. And if you want to execute some command in a running Docker container.
Yeah, we need to be attached to that container. Actually, once we run a Docker image in Docker engine, then we need to go into interactive mode for that, or you need to attach it like that. We can do like Docker -i space the container ID of that running Docker container. Once you run that, then you will be entered inside that Docker container. There you can run your command.
And what is this the -i symbolize? What does this -i symbolize?
That is for interactive mode.
Okay, and what's the difference between -i, -d, and -t?
Sorry, like I know this option only, like I only, T and D not here.
And so have you worked on Docker Swarm also?
No. Like it's just like no. I just like it was like 3 months POC. We just shown some proof of concept to our customer. So I got idea like what exactly is Docker and why it is preferred when compared to virtualization with another tools. So I know that concept, but I didn't work much on Docker.
And IBM Webster application server also.
Yes, I have experience. That was my first project. I have some exposure on that. When version 7.0 was running, but I don't know what is the current version it is running right now. Webster application.
And how will you create a data source in IBM Webster?
Data source.
Yeah, and JNDI mapping. Anything that you have done for that?
JDBC, ODBC connections we need to create that there. And the port number will be 1525. I hardly remember whether that is the correct port or not. 1521 was the default port number we will be using while creating the data source connection.
And any other thing that I missed?
Vagrant and Ansible I worked. Vagrant I worked like we are using
Ansible, what is the level of understanding in that?
Level of understanding means I did.
The depth in which you have done this.
See, Ansible I did the configuration like SSH setup and installing the Ansible and setting the inventory file.
So have you created any playbook also?
Yes, I created playbook and I have idea on Adobe commands as well and how it will work.
Okay, so what is the format extension of a playbook, Ansible playbook?
It's .yml, as the playbook will be written in YAML language and the.
Can we write in .json also?
.json, no. It will not allow actually to run Ansible-playbook space .json file. That will be written like when you do the cloud formation. I think at the time you can write it with .json format while writing the blueprints or something like that to create EC2 instance automatically.
And what are the YAML tags that you used while creating the playbook?
Playbook first, see like the basic syntax. Whenever we start writing a playbook, first line will be like 3 hyphens, which denotes that we are using the ML language. Then the next tag will be like the host. There we can mention on which host our playbook needs to be run. By default, like we can put all hosts which are there under inventory. If you want to restrict it, like then you can specify that exact module. So in your inventory you might be defining your servers under different modules like application servers, web servers, database servers and different things. That module you can mention. After that you will go to tasks. There you can under a task, under next to the tag you can give the name. Like if I'm installing an Apache web server, then you can first like apt package update you will do, like it will update the packages. Then like install web server available equals to yes present equals to yes, there will be one line, like I mean it will first check whether it is available or not. If it is not available, then only it will present equals to yes, I think. Then it will install, otherwise it will not install if it is already changed. That we can see the output after running a playbook. There changed will be one variable in the output. If it turns in yellow color and change status equals to 1, then we can assume that it successfully installed. Like if it is on one server and you have 5 to 6 servers in your inventory, and then it runs on all the 5 servers, then it will show like the count is 5, and if something is failed, then it will be viewed under error. There is another variable against that value it will be viewed.
Okay, sir. And what according to you are the advantages of Ansible over any other tool like Puppet and Chef?
So like I mean this is an agentless tool and it is very lightweight tool. So on one base box, if we install Ansible software, then there is no need to install agents on rest of the servers. You just need to have your SSH setup up and running, and you need to configure those remote server information under inventory file on the base box. Then we are good enough to run the auto commands and running the playbooks. And in Ansible we have different advantages, like I mean those are also there in Chef and Puppet, but still like I mean tags, roles, and doing a dry run of your playbooks once you run, and checking the syntax by using syntax hyphen check, and doing a dry run by using the check option there, those kind of things.
Okay, in Maven or in Windows one scenario, like if you want to change the like URL from where you want to like fetch the artifacts, so which file will you change in Maven?
Sorry, no idea. Like I mean the Maven, when we are setting up a new project, we used to run that mvn help space. One command will be there. It will give a sample pom.xml file, and we can give our details like the project artifact ID, group ID, project name, and the tags for that one. And that I know. I don't know like this complex. I mean these scenarios. I mean I didn't came across those kind of scenarios.
I guess that sums it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Okay. So I just have a small question. Like I mean.
Yeah, sure.
So like I mean this is for any internal Infosys project or any for outsourcing project that you are taking this into?
Actually, I'm aware of like the ground details about this project.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So I will find data for thinking only. You can check it with the
Okay. And the last question I should not ask you, but still I'm asking, like I mean, in which areas you found like that I'm weak, I need to improve myself?
Well, pretty much okay. Because but you can like work on build management tools and build tools that you know.
Okay, why? Because like when the scenarios you were asking, like I mean, I'm a bit didn't came across those kind of scenarios. So I'm just asking, like I mean, I think maybe in Jenkins and
Yeah,
when I need. Yeah.
some scope. Yeah, you can work on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.